Hello friends, I am Dr. Anuradha Kanade. Today I'll be discussing about the basics of the cloud computing through this recording. I'm sharing the screen. So cloud computing is a very important field which is evolving these days because the data, the facilities, the resources are shared through the cloud platform within the group of people or organizations, and all the people along with IT industries are availing the cloud features. So before starting to the term cloud computing, we need to understand what is grid computing, which is a similar term, and we can also understand the difference between the grid and the cloud computing. So grid computing is nothing but the distributed computing. It is linking multiple computing resources. The resources can be the computing power, workstations, personal computers, servers, and storage elements. So all these resources are clubbed together and they are providing a mechanism to access these resources. The main advantage of grid computing is to increase the productivity by providing transparent access to the resources, and work can be completed more quickly because the resources are shared and they can be availed by the organizations which are connected to each other. So grid computing can be defined as the network of computers working together to perform a same task. Rather, these tasks are very much difficult if we are performing these tasks through a single machine. So all the machines on the network work under the same protocol to act as a virtual supercomputer. The task that they work on may be including analyzing the huge data set, simulating situations, or some other complex work which requires high computing power. Now we'll see the difference between the grid and the cloud computing. Cloud computing is nothing but it is a facility which is provided by the third-party organizations to their clients or the users through shared resources such as computing power, network, bandwidth, storage, data, or application. So all these resources are given to the clients or the end users on their demand, and accordingly the costing is also considered. So cloud computing is following client server architecture, whereas in case of grid computing it follows distributed computing architecture. If we consider scalability as the second parameter to compare with, the cloud computing is highly scalable, whereas grid computing is normal in scalability. Regarding flexibility, cloud computing is very flexible than the grid computing, because here the heterogeneous resources can be availed by a single user, or same resource can be shared among multiple users. In case of grid computing, all the resources are considered and they are connected to each other to have a one virtual resource, and this is shared between the organizations. The cloud computing operates in a centralized manner, whereas grid computing operates in a decentralized manner. The cloud servers are owned by the infrastructure providers or cloud service providers. They are maintaining, installing all the necessary applications or operating systems, and they are also ensuring about the security of the data. So entire responsibility is with cloud providers. In case of grid computing, the grids are owned by the organization itself, and the organization is managing the grids. The services like infrastructure as a service, platform as a service, and software as a service are the examples of cloud computing services, whereas distributed computing, distributed information, and distributed pervasive are the examples of grid computing facilities. The cloud computing is basically service oriented architecture because every facility is considered as a service. It may be an infrastructure, it may be a data, it may be application, or it may be a platform. In case of grid computing, it is application oriented. To access the cloud computing facilities, web-based protocols like HTTP, HTTPS, FTP are used. But to access the grid facilities, there is the need of grid middleware. So this was regarding the difference between the cloud and the grid computing. Next, we will see different types of cloud computing. Basically, there are three types. One is public, second is private cloud, and the third one is hybrid cloud. So first, we will see public cloud. The public clouds are owned and operated by the third-party cloud service providers. They are delivering their computing resources such as servers, storages over the internet. One of the example is Microsoft Azure and another one is Google Cloud, then Amazon Web Server. So all these servers are providing public facilities in terms of hardware, software, or any other application that they are requiring. So these resources, the infrastructure, everything is owned and managed by the cloud provider. So normal people who are the end users are accessing these services without knowing the complexity of implementation. This is the diagram which can help us to understand the basic implementation of public cloud. So people can make use of all these facilities in a combination at remote places. The examples of cloud providers, public cloud providers are mentioned such as Microsoft Azure, Amazon Web Services, IBM Cloud, Oracle Cloud, Salesforce, Alibaba, and Google Cloud Platform. So advantages are it is very low cost facility. Then it is location independent because people can avail the services remotely. They are not supposed to come to the premise to access the services. So they can use these services from anywhere. The only thing is that internet and the device to access the services is needed. It saves time because it is 24 hours available. You can access it anywhere from any corner of the world where the internet and device is ensured. It is easy to set up. We can ensure a little bit scalability and reliability to some extent. Now, regarding disadvantages, cloud, which is public cloud, is providing low security, low performance, and it is less customizable. Private cloud. The private cloud refers to a cloud computing resources which are exclusively built for the single organization or the business. So there are two options. A private cloud can be physically located on the campus of the company as a data center, or some companies can avail third-party services which are hosted at remote places such as cloud. The private cloud is one in which the services and infrastructure is maintained on a private network. So firewalls and internet hosting is managed by the organization because it ensures the high level of security and privacy of the data. It also ensures the operational and sensitive data is not accessible by the third-party provider. So the examples are HP data centers, Microsoft, Illustra Private Cloud, Ubuntu, etc. are providing the private cloud services. This is the architecture where we can understand how the private cloud is providing services and who can access these services. So within the boundary, all these applications, databases, hardware, and legacy systems can be accessed by the company or the owner of the data center who is availing the private cloud facility. The public users who are not the part of this cloud cannot access these resources. They can have blocked access. So we need to have authenticity and identity that should be validated if we want to provide the access to the services. Advantages: the private clouds are having more control over the services, the resource and other facilities. It is more secured and it can ensure the privacy. The performance of cloud services in case of private cloud is very high because it is dedicated to a simple group of organization or only a single organization. The customization of services and facilities is available here in private cloud. Disadvantages: it is highly costly kind of facility because the specification which is provided by the company or the organization is to be adopted by the third party service provider, and they have to invest their efforts, manpower and resources to build the specific applications and host them for the client. It also provides restricted area of operations because people have to log into the particular business site or they have to avail this facility on the premises. So the operation area is restricted. It is not all the time available from remote places. It is having limited scalability. Sometimes the resources are very costly, so adding more resources may be incurring into a huge cost. People who are utilizing private cloud services are to be skilled or trained. Some of the examples of private cloud are VMware, IBM, then Hewlett Packard Enterprise, and many more. Private and public cloud, we can differentiate with the help of this diagram. Private cloud services are available to only one company, whereas public cloud is accessed by multiple companies. The last one is a hybrid cloud. The name itself is helping us to understand the terminology. So hybrid cloud is the combination of public as well as private cloud. It can bound these facilities together to have a proper blending of resources and applications to be provided to the third person or the user. So it can also ensure the security and it can also facilitate all these services to the optimized level. So this is the diagram which can help us to understand about the hybrid cloud facilities. Hybrid cloud can be considered as public plus private cloud. The examples are Google, Cisco, NetApp, Amazon, and Microsoft. The advantages are it is more flexible and secured, it is cost effective, it manages risks, and customization is also available. Some of the disadvantages: networking issue can be there, infrastructure compatibility is there, reliability issues can be there because